Most times, depending on what we're dispatched to, you can have a general idea if it's going to be something serious or not. If it sounds serious, for me personally, taking a deep breath and just prepare myself for the worst, essentially. Eric Ballard, I'm an acting lieutenant and a firefighter paramedic, and I'm in my 19th year. We get asked a lot, what is the worst thing you've ever seen? And I try to rephrase that. It's more about what's the worst we've ever felt.
Job stress is inevitable for first responders, but it's taking a massive toll on their mental health. A 2018 study by the Ruderman Family Foundation found first responders have PTSD and depression 5 times more than civilians. Now, firefighters, law enforcement, EMS, and dispatchers are taking new steps to address a decades-long problem that has snowballed.
My first kind of traumatic, stressful call that I went on, I was 18 and I was on a medic unit, and we went to a younger individual that had hung themselves. And afterwards, I was very distraught as a student, but didn't have any resources, didn't have any conversations about it. And I realized, wow, this is significant and stressful.
Law enforcement and fire are 3 times more likely to die by their own hand than by any other line of duty death cause combined. Those numbers are underreported. There's a lot of stigma, a lot of shame around that in our culture. So oftentimes, with the best of intentions, the true cause of death isn't revealed, which unfortunately goes on to continue the sense of stigma and isolation that members feel when they're struggling.
Rhonda Kelly heads Responder Strong, a nonprofit that's using virtual reality technology to train first responders to deal with stress. The idea, she says, is to combine realistic VR scenarios with deep breathing and mindfulness exercises, so stress management becomes something of muscle memory.
So if you just hold your hands out, nice.
Right.
Do you feel the trigger under here?
I do.
Awesome.
Yes.
So when you go to push a button or reach for anything, you pull that trigger as you touch it with the sensor.
Responder Strong walked us through 2 scenarios, one designed to raise stress levels and a guided meditation.
Your brain believes that you're actually there. It is incredibly adept at inducing physiological stress responses. And what we are working to create is a scenario that can incorporate law enforcement, fire, EMS, and dispatch that's very stressful, with some biometric feedback devices.
Technology like this, though, is just one part of the new approach to mental health. That's because things like equipment and trainings can be pretty costly and something that smaller communities might not even be able to afford. For example, last year, Responder Strong surveyed nearly 500 emergency responders in the state of Colorado, asking them about their mental health resources and needs within their departments. Only 1/3 of the respondents came back saying that they even had money in their budget for mental health.
It's a problem Kelly knows firsthand. From 2000 to 2017, she was a firefighter paramedic with the fire department in Aurora, Colorado. While she was there, she tried to start programs like peer mental health counseling.
And the chiefs recognized the need for it. They just didn't prioritize it financially at the time. And I understood why. There were a lot of valid competing needs. Second sets of bunker gear. We needed new pumpers. We needed new stations. Until the night of the theater shooting.
We need rescue inside the auditorium, multiple victims. And I got 7 down in theater 9. 7 down. I've got a child victim. I need rescue at the back door of theater 9 now.
At 12:30 in the morning, my deputy chief gave me a call and said, that program you want, roll it out. I said, I can't, we didn't fund it. I still have to function in my role. So you start to put it away to the side and just do your job. And at that point, one of the pathways that led us down was the idea that it wasn't bothering anybody else, because on the outside we're all showing this.
Another day at work.
Exactly,
Yeah,
another day at the
work.
office. Perfect description. So I believe that, and I hear this from a lot of my coworkers too, you know, you go back and oftentimes people would suffer in silence.
The 2012 movie theater shooting helped change how responders like Kelly deal with mental health. Firefighters from New York who experienced 9/11 came to provide first responders with peer counseling. That same year, Eric Ballard's department started a peer resiliency program. It's not as high-tech or high-budget as VR, but he says it's catching on. Fellow firefighters travel to other stations just to talk about the impacts and stresses of the job and life.
It was met with some skepticism and some resistance. We're not naturally good at talking about our feelings. Being courageous is being able to raise your hand and say, this bothers me or this causes stress for me. So that was our message.
In recent years, Ballard says this approach has helped firefighters like him deal with stress. And he says now they have more mental health resources. But both Kelly and Ballard agree much more work needs to be done.
The emergency response worlds are very reactive. We wait for something bad to happen, and usually you don't have to wait that long, and then you respond, you throw all your resources at it, you handle that event, and then you move on to the next bad thing that's going to happen, which is the way we've always operated. That doesn't translate well to mental wellness.
Firefighter suicides trumped all other causes and reasons why firefighters die. So that just shows you that, yeah, we're making progress, but are we done? Like, are we caught up in where we all need to be in the United States as a fire service? Absolutely not.